Hey there, creepy peeps, and welcome to another episode of Terror TV, where I talk to you about episodes of The Hunger, The Walking Dead, and iZOMBIE. So we're gonna go through the fourth episode of each of those shows right now. So the fourth episode of The Hunger is entitled The Secret Shitan, which is about a very good Chinese chef who kind of becomes bored with cooking the same thing over and over, even though he's very good at it. And he's kind of propositioned by this very strange man to read the secret Shitan and cook something from it. And the Shitan is supposed to be this very old, ancient culinary text. And apparently, if you eat something that's cooked from that, you're supposed to like taste God and whatever. You kind of can never come back from it, I guess, which is like the legend, which is why it's kind of like secret and forbidden almost. But of course, our cook is tempted by this, and he enters a deal with the man that he will be allowed to read the Shitan as long as he cooks something from it for a dinner party for this strange man. Our chef reads it, and it turns out that the Shitan is all about cooking humans. It's how to carve up a human and cook it to perfection. So at first, our chef is like appalled by this, and he doesn't want to do this. He didn't think that was what it was going to be, but our strange man kind of threatens him to cook from this, and he does it anyway and ends up cooking the man instead of his servant, who is supposed to be kind of served up at this dinner party. He cooks the host, and yeah, that's how it ends. I kind of liked it. It almost had a fairy tale or like a fable kind of thing to it, you know, like a legend that you tell. I did like this one. I like the twist at the end. I wasn't expecting him to have cooked up the host, and he looked really gross, actually, to be honest. And I love how like the dinner party guests, like they just don't even think twice about the fact that the host has been served for dinner, and they all just get up with like their plates and forks and like dig in, which is kind of awesome. So we're gonna move on to the fourth episode of The Walking Dead. Basically, poor Jim, he has this vision, which we don't find out like toward the end what happens, but he has this vision of the camp being attacked. So the whole episode he's like being all crazy and weird and digging graves, like a certain number of graves, which turns out how many people have died. T-Dog, Rick, Daryl, and Glenn are all back in the city trying to find Merle, and they run into some trouble with another group of survivors trying to get this bag of guns that Rick left in the city, if you remember a couple episodes back. And it turns out that the survivors are just trying to protect these older, elderly people who are all they're not like trapped in their like retirement home or whatever, retirement facility, but obviously they can't move quickly or anything like that. So the younger people, who we think are like gang members at the beginning, are just trying to protect them. So Rick leaves them with some guns, and they return to their truck to drive back and find that it's been taken, presumably by Merle, who we don't see at all in this episode, so we don't know what happens to him yet. But when they return to camp, they find that it is being attacked by zombies, which is always fun. They kick ass, there's some casualties, and that's kind of how the episode ends. Basically, the things I realized in this episode is I very much like Daryl. He's kind of a hothead like his brother, but he can be reasoned with, and I think he's gonna be really cool. Maybe I'm wrong, maybe he's like a dick the whole season, or not the whole season, but the whole like series, but I like him. And I love Glenn. Glenn is the best. All right, finally, the fourth episode of iZOMBIE. Basically in this episode, it's mostly about how Blaine is creating this zombie army, and now we kind of can't tell who zombies are anymore, because the very first lady he turned is very rich and kind of becomes like his sugar mama almost. But she has enough money to like get her skin kind of like airbrushed to look, you know, lively and pigmented, and they all dye their hair so it's not like stark white like Liv's. So now we can no longer tell who iZOMBIE is. Blaine has kind of become like he used to be a drug dealer, and now like, and he wanted to be like a drug lord, almost like the head of like big business of selling drugs and all that. And now he's kind of become like a zombie lord almost. He has like lackeys that go out and recruit people, and he even has a freezer full of zombies that he literally like just pulls out and thaws out for his use, which is great. When I saw that, I kind of lost it with laughter, because not too long ago at work we were talking about the same thing, like being able to just like pull employees out of a freezer and just like thaw them out when we needed them. I really like this episode. I think the whole zombie army thing is getting very interesting. We don't really know where it's going yet. I don't know what Blaine's end game is here. Right now he's kind of just recruiting people, and so we're gonna see where that goes. That was like a quickie little recap on the 4th episode of The Hunger, The Walking Dead, and iZOMBIE. As always, I will leave an extended review on my website at NightmareMaven.com, so feel free to check that out if you'd like. And I do hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, leave a comment down below, and subscribe to the channel if you'd like to see more of my face and hear more of my voice. And until next time, stay strange. Bye!